I'm Captain Jim, and this is Things You Should Know About, a show where I talk about things I think you should know about. And today, I think you should know about Open Xcom. Now, as some of you will know, in 2012, Firaxis Games released a game called Xcom A, a turn-based strategy game where you are the commander of an international organisation tasked with investigating and preventing an alien invasion of Earth. This game is extremely well received by both critics and players alike, and in my opinion is the game of the decade. Additionally, in 2013, Firaxis released an expansion called Xcom Enemy Within, which added further soldier classes, enemies, maps, set pieces and story elements, further improving on an already exceptional game. If you haven't played this game, then I strongly recommend that you check it out. It's available as a demo on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and also on Apple OS, Android, and now even Linux. So you really don't have an excuse. However, all that being said, this is not the game that I want to talk to you about today, but I do plan on coming back to it in due course. So what less of you are probably aware of is that this game is actually a remake or reboot or reimagining, depending on what you want to call it, of a game that was created and released by Micropose and Mythos Games back in 1994 under the working titles UFO Enemy Unknown in the UK and Australia and XCOM UFO Defense in the USA and Canada. Now, this game has been voted several times as the greatest computer game ever made, a sentiment I wholeheartedly agree with, and in fact, as a testament to its awesomeness, it is still available on Steam 20 years later for the princely sum of 3 of your English pounds. Quite literally, as cheap as chips. Now, this game isn't perfect. The user interface is pretty clunky, and there are several bugs which weren't removed and are pretty annoying. Luckily though, last year a fan-made, free-to-download mod was released called, and you guessed it, Open Xcom. Now, this makes the UI much friendlier and repairs those annoying bugs, some of which I'll talk about as we go along. So the story is that after several failed attempts by Dreadnerd to form their own independent alien defence organisations, they clubbed together to pool their resources. And as with the game's predecessor, you are the commander of a newly formed internationally funded covert military organisation known as Extraterrestrial Combat, or Xcom for short. You, as the commander, are tasked with investigating and preventing the alien invasion of the far distant future of 1999. Now, there are 2 main parts to this game. The strategy part consists of a world map of the Earth, or geoscape as it's known, in which you construct bases and in those build facilities, hire staff, perform research, and equip your aircraft and soldiers, and a whole myriad of other things as well that goes with it. So this is all actually just preparation, of course, for the inevitable and UFO appearing. So when this happens, your response is to send out an interceptor jet fighter to shoot it down. If you do manage to shoot it down, and you probably will, or the UFO lands, or worse, it attacks either a city on a terror mission or one of your bases, then you need to send a tactical squad of soldiers to go and fight the aliens. This of course leads us to the second part of the game, the combat. Hooray! So you start each mission by equipping the soldiers that you've loaded onto their transport ship. Now, a bug in the original game meant that you had to do this on a case-by-case basis for each mission, and it couldn't remember what each person had, and it was really annoying. But luckily in the Open Xcom, one of the big fixes that they've had is that it remembers what the troops had on their last mission, and so automatically fills them in, saving you a lot of time and mucking about. So once this is done, we can then open the transport doors on the vessel and take turn-based control of our squad in an isometric gridded map. This is known as the battlescape. So here we must kill or stun the entire alien force before they can do it to us. Now, each of our soldiers has a set amount of time units, among a myriad of other stats. Now we expend these time units in order to move, to shoot, to use items, etc, etc. So basically we end up with this resource that we're hoarding so that we can end up in a good position with the ability to do some actions when we meet the aliens so that they don't catch us with our trousers down. Now at the start of each mission, you don't know what type of aliens you're fighting. You don't know how many there are or where they are on the map. In the fog of war you can't see them, but you can hear their actions, which sometimes is terrifying. And when you combine this with the emotional connection you make with your men, because you've renamed them all, as everybody always does, along with the permanent death mechanic, so that your soldiers are dead once they're dead, and of course the eerie music that is constantly playing in the background, then it's actually one of the most gut-wrenchingly tense and terrifying games that I've ever played. And if you are going to play it, I do suggest you have several changes of underwear nearby, because it is not that uncommon that at least half of your squad gets completely annihilated just for stepping off the transport. And if you'd like to see a video where I almost completely get wiped out in an ambush, then follow the link on screen. So when you do finish the mission, you get a nice little itemised bill with a score, depending on how well or badly you've done. At the end, we get to take all the loot back to our base, we can rig up our team, research the alien tech, and hopefully be better prepared for the next attack. Now, at the end of the month, the International Funding Committee all meets to see how well we've done, and it decides to either increase our funding per country or decrease our funding if we're doing badly, or if we're doing really, really badly, they'll completely pull their support. This is very bad. While they're not the only way to get money, we can sell alien artifacts, for example. If they pull out, we completely lose, and certainly in the first half of the game, they're the major and steady stream of income that we have. So that's it, really. You keep fighting the aliens until either they've been stopped, or they've found one of the many ways to kill you. So if you are going to play this game, or you already have it, then I definitely recommend you get the Open Xcom. It can be downloaded free of charge from openxcom.org, and it improves the game in so many small ways that it's beautifully done, because it doesn't change the game mechanic itself, but makes it much easier and less irritating to play by allowing you to control the video options, the audio settings, to select from a huge list of game control adaptation options for both the Geoscape and the Battlescape, making it easier to play, as well as including a series of game mods that do alter the game mechanic, and I'll allow you to find them out at your own leisure. So that's all I've got time for today, with just enough time for me to say that it is worth noting that a recent Kickstarter funded game called Xenonauts was released, and this is much closer than the original than the new XCOM. Whether that's good or bad, that's for you to decide, but it's definitely worth checking out. So all that leaves me to say is that if you enjoy strategy games, you like the new XCOM, or have £3 burning a hole in your back pocket, then go and get the original game from Steam, along with, of course, the Open Xcom, and enjoy the edge-of-your-seat terror and heroin-like levels of addiction that come with playing this game. Oh, and if you enjoyed my video, please do like it, and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more. Thank you for listening, and hopefully I shall see you again.